welcome back to Let's Play It's Eternity Apollo Justice. We are in big trouble. Druzy got kidnapped. Druzy! Druzy! Real quick, Apollo. Good show, good show. Druzy, you're okay. I thought... Oh, don't cry, Apollo. This is good for nothing gangsters. There's some things you just don't do. I'm pressing charges. Wait, just calm down, Apollo. Or else... Whoa! What the heck is that? Surprised? This is one of my best tricks. The amazing Mr. Hat.
You look marvelous, darling.
It's a big hit on stage with a Wonder Bar.
Yes, I am a big hit.
Well, what do you think? Do you like it? You mean you... Druzy, there are some things you just don't do. I'm pressing charges. Apollo! Now is not the time to be threatening me. It's you who's being threatened here. Huh? Remember what you said to Waki's father yesterday? You promised you'd save his son. But that testimony was rock solid. What are you suggesting I do? Look, once the judge declares a verdict, it's all over. If you can use my talent to stop that from happening, I will. Druzy, no more stage abductions, please. I'm not talking about magic, Apollo. I know when the witness wasn't confident. I can perceive what he's feeling. It might not mean anything, but it's all we've got. You can see what he's feeling? Think back, Apollo. Think back to the times when there was a contradiction in his testimony. All the times. All the times there was a contradiction? He wasn't as confident. There was something there. I think I remember them, sure. There were 2 times when he made statements he wasn't confident in. And each time there was a contradiction. In his hand he held, yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling the stand. Tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene. He said the man tossed aside the pistol, but it turned out he wasn't sure, and sure enough, there was a contradiction. Well, that's true, but how does that help us? Didn't you notice anything? Whenever he made a statement he wasn't confident in, he displayed a certain habit. His hand he held. Yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling the stand. Did you see it? The moment he said the word pistol, his fingers got all tense, and he filled with the corner in the page of his book. How am I supposed to see that? Well, I could see it. How else do you think Daddy went 7 years without losing a game of poker? What? I always sat next to Daddy during big matches. I could see what his opponents were feeling. You mean that's how Mr. Right won all those games? It's not cheating officially. I wasn't looking at their hands or anything. And I wasn't there all the time either. Daddy's quite good at poker after all. But not good enough to go undefeated that long. Great, so he cheated. What does that do for us? I don't believe this. You have to listen to his testimony one more time. No, scratch that. You have to watch his testimony. Perceive the truth. Watch a testimony? Perceive the truth? The only thing I'm perceiving is that I'm going to lose. Not true. Daddy said so. He said you'd have the power, Apollo. Mr. Right said that? Watch the testimony. Perceive his true feelings? Is she serious? Time's up. Sorry, I can't think of any other way out of this one, Apollo. What was it she said before the trial started? Mr. Wright's not here today? He's had his little foot injuries acting up. Yeah, he smiled when he said, we'll be fine as long as you're there, Druzy. Is this what he meant by us being fine? Well, methods aside, she did avoid one guilty verdict already today. Time to show this court what I'm made of. Get ready for justice. Let's do it. Apollo? You know, I'm starting to think I can do this. I knew you could do it all along. Oh, one more thing. Try to cover for Mr. Hat as best you can.
I just flew in from the coast and boy am I tired.
Right. How did... I'm not worried about it. Okay, I'll figure something out. Course now back in session. Right, we're fine. I'd like to say that the young lady standing next to you, Mr. Justice. Oh, you mean me? Don't you have anything to report? Anything concerning the mysterious phantom in a silk top hat? Right, him. Don't worry about him. I settled that. You settled that? Yes, it was an out-of-court settlement. Right. Perhaps Fraulein would have us believe it was nothing more than a passing dream. A fantastic illusion. Now you see it, now you don't. Am I right? I think he's on to me. I wish he would stop being so cool. Let us dispense with these niceties and get straight to the matter. What are your plans for the gifted witness? Right. The defense would like to request another cross-examination. Because I forgot to ask something. There was no issue with the witness's previous testimony. I'll grant your request, however, but this court will not permit stalling for time. Understood, Your Honor. Don't forget Apollo. When he isn't sure about something, he'll have a habit fiddling with his book. From shot to call. I could not prevent the killer from leaving the scene. Nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I used my cell phone to call the police. Until the police arrived at the scene 10 minutes ago, I saw no one else. Or 10 minutes later. I'm not sure I qualified to watch testimonies after all. Focus, Apollo. Find his weak spot. Focus. If only were that easy. My ears hear what he's saying, but my eyes see his expression. Do I have to do something more? What other senses do I have? What's this? My bracelet? What's going on? My bracelet feels different somehow. I think Daddy was right. You can see it, can't you, Apollo? You're almost there. Find the weak spot in his testimony. I know this sounds crazy, but my bracelet's trying to tell me something. Then I'll look at every single part that I can. Could I prevent the killer from leaving the scene? Nor can I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I use my cell phone to call the police. Until the police arrived at the scene 10 minutes later, I saw no one else. This is the only time when he's fiddling with his book. So you called immediately after witnessing the murder? The police undoubtedly have a record of the call. Why not check with them? Wait, Apollo! This has to be it. Wait, you mean his habit? Don't forget, Apollo. When he isn't sure about something, he has a habit of fiddling with his book. The only time he even had the book open was here. Which means it's the place to look for that habit. I don't know how I know, but I know. Now what? It's my bracelet. It's different somehow. I can feel it reacting to something about the witness. Your bracelet? I'm not sure I get the focus stuff you're talking about either, Trucy. But I have a feeling that trusting my bracelet is the way to go. I just need to touch my bracelet as it reacts to the testimony. Whoa, what's going on? I can see the witness's face, his expression so clearly. It's filling my mind. I can see nothing else, but hear nothing else. Apollo? Trucy, what's happening to me? This is what I meant by focusing. Focusing. In this state, you can see everything, Apollo. Everything the witness does. That's great, but this is kind of freaking me out. Just look at Mr. Stickler's twitch. He has a habit. You remember it, right? Sure, when he says something he's not sure of, he fiddles with the page of his book. You got it. Right now, you're looking at the witness's face. And your eyes are sort of bugging out. I bet they are. First, move your focus of attention down to Mr. Stickler's hand. His hand? You know where to look for now, but you have to be looking at the right place. She's right. I can only see his face like this. It's changed my viewpoint. With the D-pad, I just have it down. There! Now you're really ready. Ready for what? Ready to perceive the truth behind the twitch. Perceive. Try listening to the witnesses talk as you focus. Then watch for his habit. Right. You mean when he fills with the page? That's right! That's your signal to look closer. To perceive. Find his weak spot, and I guarantee you'll be able to give him the royal flush. Spoken like a true poker head's daughter. A magician, thank you very much. To pay attention to his words. His fingers. Don't worry if you miss it. You can always try again. Right. Look out, Nervous Twitch. Here comes justice.
Go.
Nothing yet.
Please, my cell phone.
There he is. He's fiddling with it.
But
he's not. That is it. But why would he fiddle with it if he's using his cell phone? Why is that where he's on shady ground? Only one thing to do. I saw it. Just now I could see it. Mr. Justice? Do you have anything to say? And all this banging at desks is quite bad for circulation, you see. Mr. Stickler? Allow me to ask you a simple question. Why did you fiddle with the page of your book just now? At the very moment you mentioned your cell phone. What are you talking about? I'm curious now about the cell phone of yours. Mind if I ask a few questions? What to ask? Just to see it, if he still has it. Mr. Stickler, please show me your cell phone. Why? Whatever for? Show me and you'll find out. Oh, well, I can't. I don't have it, you see. You don't have it? Mr. Stickler? Is this your cell phone? Where did you get that? That's a cell phone. That's a phone from yesterday. Look, a cell phone. Someone dropped it beneath this tire. If the car moved, it would have been crushed for sure. Huh. I wonder if it belongs to the doctor here. How strange, Mr. Stickler. Can you explain why the cell phone is sitting here in my hand at this very moment? Wait a moment. What is the meaning of this? This cell phone was found yesterday in the Maractus Clinic garage. The Maractus... What? That's where the victim lived. That's impossible. Mr. Stickler, you lied to the court, didn't you? If your cell phone is here, then how could you call the police? It's true, I didn't have my cell phone that night. That is why it can be said that I called the police from a public payphone. A payphone? So you didn't call on your cell phone after all? Just where was this payphone located, Mr. Stickler? Well, to indicate it with a startling high degree of accuracy, it was right around here. That's quite a ways away from the park. But why did you lie? There can only be one reason. He didn't want the court to know that he lost his cell phone. Because it was found in the victim's garage. What are you saying? Mr. Stickler, you broke into the Maractus Clinic garage on the night of the murder. The cell phone tells all! But that's ridiculous. That makes it sound like I stuck into the fellow's garage to commit some crime. As though I were trying to kill him. Well, Dr. Maractus was killed that night. Wait, yes, but no! This line of reasoning has to be against the rules! Well, yes, it's true I lost my cell phone, but then you can't prove that I lost it that night! Well, Mr. Justice, the cell phone was dropped on the night of the murder. It does raise considerable suspicions of the connection of the crime. How's your chance, Apollo? Connect Mr. Stickler to the crime. Oh, he's already connected enough. I just have to prove it. Well, do I have a piece of evidence that can do the job? Can I prove the cell phone was dropped the night of the murder? Yes, I can. Of course I have evidence. Oh, I like your swagger, forehead. Hit it. Court will see this evidence, Mr. Justice. Hit it, as they say. The evidence that proves the cell phone was dropped on the night of the murder is... Well, Prosecutor Gavin? No comment there, Judge. No dice. It's just a penalty. Apollo, remember where we found the cell phone? Right. Fell on the ground before that night. Yeah, it was all over and crushed. I jumped ahead a little bit. Gotcha, understood. Understood. Okay. Jump the gun. That's a side view mirror. As just so happens, Dr. Baraxis' car was in an accident. That took place the night of the murder. An accident? An accident. It happened a little after 9 p.m., just outside People Park. Our murder scene. Dr. Baraxis' car hit a pedestrian. What are you trying to say? For the absence of a mirror, it's clear that the car was parked after the incident. Which meant it was parked there after 9 p.m. on the night of the murder. If your cell phone had been dropped up before the car was parked at the garage, it would have been crushed. After all, it was lying on the ground right under the wheel. Ergo, Mr. Stickler, the only time you could have dropped this in that garage was after 9 p.m. the night of the murder in the park. Mr. Stickler, you know what this means. You did break into the victim's garage that night. This is most unexpected, Mr. Justice. Are you naming the witness as a suspect of the murder of Pel Maractus? No, stop! This is too much! This can't be happening! Prosecutor, say something! I suppose it is worth saying this. No connection has been found between Wesley Stickler and Pel Maractus. That is, other than this. I believe our next testimony will be the most revelatory. Is the witness prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I know that face. That's the face of guilt. He's guilty about something. That night, yes, I went to the supermarket. I must have dropped my cell phone on the way back. And when I was walking through the park, it happened to witness the crime. I saw the killer, the victim, the stand, all as clear as day. It was him! I saw the defendant at the scene! Yes, but your cell phone was lying in the garage. Yes, well, as you can see, my model of cell phone has a defect. It is given to rolling. Quite a pain when you drop it alongside the road, you know. Looks like an old cell phone to me. In any case, Mr. Justice, the cross-examination, please. That's funny. My bracelet didn't react at all during that testimony. His nervous habit must not be acting out. I didn't sense anything either, actually. Looks like you're on your own this time around. No problem. I hope. Comes justice. In that case, let's deal with hard, cold facts. That night, yes, I went to the supermarket. So you went shopping, which means you were holding a grocery bag when you witnessed the murder taking place? Well, yes, of course. Incidentally, the prosecution has received no report of this domestic detail. Mr. Stickler, can you explain yourself? No, I mean, yes, I did go shopping, really. I walked around the supermarket, trying out the free samples. It's a deeply spiritual time for me. I'm sure the store clerks would disagree. Do you think sampling free food counts as a religion? In any case, that night, I assembled to my heart's content and was on my way back home, yes. I must have dropped my cell phone on my way back. That's when you passed in front of the Maraxis clinic. Why, yes, that is correct. That was a pretty suspicious pause there. Mr. Stickler, do you think you could be a bit more specific? Please show us the exact route you took the night of the murder. Of course. The supermarket is here along the main road. The way home from there, takes me past the Marcus Clinic. This is probably where I dropped my cell phone. Yet where was I walked on, unaware of my loss? Past us, past the payphone, and walked right into that fateful park. And when I was walking through the park, I happened to witness the crime. Which entrance did you enter the park from? Well, to be exact, one might say I went in from the entrance closest to the Marcus Clinic. The same entrance our victim used. Did you notice anything when you entered? Wheel marks from a noodle stand, for instance? I have no recollection of such thing, no. Yet, though I might have missed the tracks, I could not miss what happened next. I have a keen observer, to the obvious, you might say. I saw the killer, the victim, the stand, all clear as day. This part of the testimony is the key. I know it. Should I press him about the killer, the victim, or the noodle stand? The killer, the victim, or the noodle stand? He died pulling it. This one's the more obvious. Do you happen to remember the noodle stand? Oh, quite well, yes. For a student of the sciences, keen observation and healthy curiosity are vital. I remember everything. I can even read the sign. I believe it said, noodle. Yes, that's what it was. Remembering something so quite well, it sure took you a while to tell us. Thank you for telling us that the noodle stand sells noodles. Very enlightening. Mr. Justice? What about the sign? Could be important? That is very important. So the sign on the noodle stand said noodle. It appears the defense has just obtained a vital piece of testimony. Is the noodle stand's broth really that delicious? I'll have to go assemble the wares one of these days. I think that's worth adding to the testimony as well. Whatever sort of noodles that stand sells, it can't match up to IU's cafeteria. Some apply to the school merely as a taste of our smart noodles. I wouldn't mind a taste of that myself. Why, I even remember the sign on the stand the victim was pulling. It said noodle. So the sign said noodle. You're absolutely sure. Let me be frank. Yes. In fact, the word unsure isn't even in my dictionary, nor the word uncertain, or... He was wasting time looking that stuff up! Noodle, huh? I like that. It tells you what you're getting, no nonsense. Tells me a lot more about that, actually. Why are you smiling like that, Apollo? It was him! I saw the defender of the scene! Yeah, forget about that. Noodle? I know it's a noodle stand, but his name's Eldoon. And you're absolutely sure the sign read noodle. Why, just last week my professor offered me this praise. At least you have good eyesight, Stickler. I'll give you that. It read, without a doubt, noodle. I see. Unlike some people. What? What are you looking at me like that? Is that pity in your eyes? Let's take a look at our map, shall we? So you're claiming that when you saw the sign, you were standing here. Was it? Although, it would have been a bit hard to read the sign from this spot. You think so? Mr. Stickler, I'd like you to please take another look at the stand. And to carefully read what the sign says. See? The sign actually states the name of the stand's owner. Eldoons. Inconceivable! The sign definitely said noodle for sure, positive. I'm afraid your professor is wrong about that eyesight. I wouldn't be so quick to jump to that conclusion. The sign he saw changes everything. The witness says the sign said noodle, but he saw it wrong. The answer is quite simple. The witness saw the sign wrong. Doesn't seem to be the case, yes. Oh, the only thing that changes the witness's eyesight. What? Okay, so you prove the witness has bad eyesight. You're overconfident. That proves he's a bad witness. Doesn't solve the case. How rude. I have not made a single mistake, I assure you. I'm a student of science. Errors are not tolerated in my field, I'll have you know. What if he is right? What if he's right to be so confident? And if he is right about the sign, what does it mean for the entire case? What would you say if I told you that there is one spot from which the sign could be read the way Mr. Stickler claims? What? Ms. Justice, show us this spot. The witness actually viewed the stand for this location. Well, if you look at the crime scene, probably saw it. Probably around here. The witness was standing here, on the opposite side. How do you know that? When viewed from the south, the sign of the stand reads El Dunes, as we know. However, observe the other side of the stand. Oh, this side says Doodle. Exactly. The name of the stand is split between the front and back signs. Mr. Stickler, you lied to the court. You witnessed the crime from the northern side of the park, not the south. No! You got me! So what? So what? What does it matter if you saw the killing from the north or the south side? It makes no difference at all. He's right. Travel far enough to the south and you end up going north. Viewed with the global scale, directions ought to leave without meaning. Actually, maybe he's right. What does it change? It changes everything, Apollo. Trucy? Remember his testimony from before. Though, to be honest, I'm a little scared of where this is leading. The killer and the victim were facing each other here. Then at the moment the killer raised his weapon, Mr. Stickler shouts. At which point the victim turns his head to look, and the killer fires his pistol. That's why the bullet hit him in the right temple. No contradictions, right? Right? But if Mr. Stickler was standing on the north side of the park, that reverses the whole scenario. Completely. If Mr. Stickler shouts where he is now, and the victim looks in his direction, the bullet would have hit his left temple. Oh! In other words, someone standing at point K could not shoot the victim in his right temple. It's impossible. That's right! So now that we know that Mr. Stickler was standing in the northern side, the wound location takes an entirely different meaning. Indeed. You're absolutely correct, Fraulein. What meaning? The entry wound was on the right side of the victim's head, correct? Well, the right side of the victim's head is north. North. Oh! But that's where the witness, Wesley Stickler, was standing. Correct. So if he was standing to the north, then the only person here who could have shot the victim is the right temple. Was Stickler himself. No! Order, order, order! Wow, the apple didn't fall far from the tree. She flipped this whole case on its head while I was still figuring it out. Clarify one point for me, if you would, Herr Forehead. What now? Are you truly accusing this college student of murder? Well, I can't say he exactly looks innocent, but something still doesn't feel right. I just can't picture him as the real killer. No, please, look aside. I'm really a nice guy. All of my friends say so. Let's hear what the defense has to say. What are you going to do now, Justice? Should I really accuse Mr. Stickler? No. Not of that. I don't think Wesley Stickler is a killer, but he's not innocent either. His unusual silence tells me that much. Mr. Stickler, you seem unusually quiet. Tell us why now. The word confession isn't in my dictionary. And forehead. I'm afraid it falls to you to elucidate Herr Stickler's silence. Mr. Justice, you did say you were accusing the witness just now. For a crime other than murder. Your reason? The court's all ears. I know he's guilty of something. What crime other than murder is there? Have evidence to show his involvement in some other crime? Your evidence? The court's all eyes, Mr. Justice. Source evidence points to the witness's involvement in a crime. Theft. Something tells me this is one of those good silences. This was in the trash. Yep. Something else to say, Mr. Justice? One more chance, please? By all means, but your effort wasn't wasted. Look, a brand new penalty. Please reveal your thoughts to the court. Okay. Did I jump the gun again? It sounds like he stole this. The evidence is this. What is that? Women's underwear? Oh, hey, those are mine. Don't look at me like that! It was him! Order! Order! Mr. Stickler! While I can't say this comes as a shock, it's not what it seems! By Pythagoras' theorem, I swear it! On the night of the murder, just past 9 p.m., a young girl catches a panty snatcher red-handed. Bravely, she gives chase, but the snatcher flees and hides himself in no other place than the Miraculous Clinic garage. Oh! Incidentally, these panties were found in the exhaust pipe of the car there. Presumably, he was trying to hide the evidence of his crime. Ergo, while you may not be a murderer, you are guilty of panty snatching in the first degree. Please hear me out! Is that what it looks like? Order! Order! Mr. Stickler, you should be ashamed. It's not what it seems. So, are we to understand that you're silent not because you're guilty of murder, but because you lacked the courage to admit your theft of this girl's undergarments? Perhaps you're not... Perhaps you're not aware of my school's name. It's originally written IV. I stands for intelligent, V stands for valiant. See? You're a point? I'm not done! Now I'm a major of a science department. And what does science teach, if not curiosity? Yes, we of the IVU student science department are valiantly curious. No challenge is too daunting or too great a challenge to science and history. Come on, you're talking about a girl's panties here. No, you do not understand. A mystery is the unknown. The unknown is not acceptable. And my friends, when it comes to the mysteries, they were the promised land. The moment I first laid eyes on them, I was compelled to investigate for science. Full-size car tire was the first mystery, but the panties revealed. A tire? Yes, I saw her do it. She pulled the tire out of those panties. But that's not enough. First, there was a tire, then a stew pot, and a frozen chicken. One mystery after another. It was magic. Oh, I remember now. He's one of the regulars in the audience of the Wonder Bar. Huh? He's talking about the magic panties trick. What? I just don't understand. A broom from a pair of panties? It mocks the very laws of physics. A broom? And a frozen chicken, Trucy? Whatever happened to doves and bunny rabbits? Mr. Stickler, you stole this girl's panties to understand a magic trick? You say panties, but they are much more than that. For me, they are an object of serious study. I wonder... There's been a recent rash of panty snatchings in the area. Were they all you? I am sorry, but I did it for science. Each time I spied a pair of panties flapping in the breeze, I thought maybe this would be the pair to elucidate the mystery. And that the night as she chased me through the streets, I wept tears of joy. This is the night when sees the truth and lies within these panties. But what was I? Once again, a lacy heartbeat of truth slipped from my fingers. Still, that leaves one thing unexplained. Ah, you refer to our witness's other lie, yes? The witness claimed he saw the crime from the south, but it's in fact in the north. Indeed. Would anyone care to explain why he lied about that? Be my guest, Herr Forehead. Me? Did I not hear you correctly? Did you not say you do not accuse the witness of murder? Why then did the witness lie about his location at the time of shooting? Or have you no idea? Paulo, there's something about the way the diagram is arranged right now. When you think about it, right where Mr. Stickler is standing, isn't there a... Mr. Justice, what do you say? Do you have any evidence to show why the witness lied? See, it all goes back to this, doesn't it? The evidence that shows why he lied is this. What? More? How many panties are you carrying in your pocket, Herr Forehead? These are the last, honest! They were found in a trash can at the park. Looking at the diagram, we can see that the trash can was right next to where the witness stood. Mr. Stickler, you didn't! Alas, I'm a failure as a scientist! I cannot unravel the mysteries of the universe. I can't even unravel a pair of panties. So, these panties are your handiwork as well? That night, I've been chased, hounded the Maractus Clinic garage. Weeping in frustration, I was forced to abandon my prize. But don't you see how I felt? Believe me, I'd rather not. I hid in the garage for a short while, then abandoning the panties I made for home. To avoid the office where the girl works, I went towards the southern entrance. When I saw them hanging there in the clothesline with a giant mansion, a giant pair of panties. Apparently, he didn't know those bloomers belonged to the mob. I had them safe in my pocket, ready to take home, when I stumbled upon a murder. The murder of Dr. Maractus. I reported what I had seen, but as I waited for the police to arrive, I got scared. What if they had searched me? That's when you disposed of the bloomers? Yes, it was a severe blow to the progress of science, but one that had to be borne. A fascinating, if disturbing, tale. How do we find these guys? I believe this brings today's proceedings to a close. I'm more than pleased to dismiss this witness for the remainder of the trial. One last thing, if I might. Yes, Prosecutor Gavin. Regardless of where we ended today, some vital points are made. Namely, the defendant, Wakikitaki, was at the scene of the crime, and he was pointing a weapon at the victim. And one more thing. Wakikitaki has a clear motive. Indeed, the defendant Wakikitaki is still the prime suspect in this case. The only suspect, in fact, assuming there was no one else at the scene at the time. Yet a mystery remains. The location of the wound of the victim's right temple is yet to be explained. The court requests further investigation from both the defense and prosecution. Ja, baby. No problem. Very well. This brings the trial of the day to a close. Court is adjourned. Oh, that was a whirlwind. Can I get these out of my inventory now? I don't want them. That's the first day of the trial. This is Let's Play Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. See you next time. But seriously, get these out of my inventory. I don't want them.